Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Yuma Center for Spiritual Living. I'm Reverend Rebecca Kay, and I'm so glad that you could join me this morning for my daily spiritual practice. Well, this morning, I have a word for the week for us, a word that actually I've been thinking about for several weeks. We're looking at the changes in the way that people volunteer and attend things. And I think that we're still seeing lots of what shall I say, ripples from the time that people were home during COVID. So, our word for the week this week is isolation. And the meaning of the word isolation is the state of one who is alone, solitude, seclusion, and detachment from others. I think many of us had never spent time in isolation before. And so when we stayed home for all those months, we got to realize that isolation is something different than we thought. So this morning's reading really resonated with me. It's from 100 Days of Believing Bigger by Marsha Evans Daniels. And she writes, isolation is really a fear of trusting others. Prolonged solitude is the soil of self-doubt. It can be a threat to your faith and your life's mission. And it can become a breeding ground where fear is able to run wild with whispers of lack and insecurity. As intimate as a walk with God is, it's not meant to be done alone. We often distance ourselves from others when trust is broken, when people let us down. We can also make unhealthy vows to never let that kind of disappointment enter our lives again. We can allow a spirit of distrust to enter our hearts. In doing so, we bring the past into the present, and that pollutes our future. I'm going to read that again because I think that that's a statement I had never looked at like that before. We can bring the past into the present, and that pollutes our future. Skepticism and mistrust aren't the same as discernment, though we often try to dress them up as such. They're just another excuse to stay to ourselves as opposed to risk the vulnerable feelings that come up as we put our trust in others. Isolation is a trap. Spirit wants us to be in community with others, especially those who can support our growth. Our lives are intentionally interconnected. The very wisdom you need to make your shift will likely come from a messenger you're least likely to expect or appreciate. Wow. So, how has betrayal or disappointment created distrust and caused you to pull away from others? This morning, as we go into a meditation, I ask you to affirm with me. Today, I am surrounded with love and wisdom and the boldness to take the next step into my new way of being. Oh, it feels so good, doesn't it? Let's close our eyes. Just give yourself this time to connect to the divinity within, that beautiful golden spark shining brightly in your heart. Drop down into your heart and just listen to the silence. Feel the calm. Let it surround you. Let it fill you. Let it bless you and heal you. For we have stepped into high consciousness. That place where we prepare our minds for the best that life has to offer. That place where we agree it's time to take the next step, to start trusting others, and to step out of isolation. I invite you to affirm with me. Today, I am surrounded with love and wisdom and the boldness needed to take the next step forward. I allow you to just sit in the silence and listen. Just listen for the still, small voice within. Today, I am surrounded with love and wisdom, and I am ready to take the next step in my life and on my mission. Just notice how good it feels to just sit in the silence and be filled with the divine. Today, I am surrounded with love and wisdom as I take the next steps on my path and in my life. Today, I am surrounded with love and wisdom as I take the next steps on my path and in my life. Today, I am surrounded with love and wisdom as I take the next steps on my path and in my life. Today, I am surrounded with love and wisdom as I take the next steps on my path and in my life. I remind you as we sit in this silence that Spirit wants us to be in community with others. And the very wisdom you need might make your shift more likely. And that shift might come from the messenger you're least likely to expect or appreciate. As our journey comes to a close, we send great thanks to the universe for the opportunity to come together and align to our true selves. I thank you for being a light in the world. I thank you for being a part of this spiritual community, whether it's in line or in person. This Sunday, I will be speaking, and I will be talking about living from a good heart. I hope you can join us. I know sometimes on Sunday morning, people have problems with the volume, but as soon as the service is over, Facebook corrects the problem with the volume, so you can always hear our recordings. Just go to our homepage. I'm so grateful that each of you takes the time to connect to your true selves. Thank you for joining me this morning for my daily spiritual practice. I'm Reverend Rebecca Kay here at the Yuma Center for Spiritual Living. I hope you'll join me on Sunday morning. If not, I'll see you next Wednesday with some points to ponder. I send you much love and many blessings. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being a light in the world.